he decided to start a residency program for urban artists where they could explore working in the rural community and the community would get more exposure to the arts. Twin Cities art institutions were at first skeptical. When Davis presented the idea, which he says just made him want to do it even more. He also realized that the arts fed economic health, that towns gained distinction in setting up rural cultural centers. His commitment to providing arts to rural communities helped secure funding from the McKnight Foundation, and he received a recognition from the Northwest Area Foundation and Corporate Report magazine, both citing New York Mills as a national model for the arts and the economic development. Later, he moved to Lansboro, Minnesota, where he served as an executive director of Lansboro Arts. Building another national model for arts in rural communities, in 2011, Davis received the 2011 Visionary Leadership Award from the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits. Lansboro Arts was an award Bush Prize for the Community of Innovation in 2014. And in 2018, he was recognized with the prestigious Bush Foundation Fellowship. It was most recently, he was a 2018 recipient of the Rural Policy Research Institute Senior Policy Fellowship. Davis has become a voice for a small town and rural creative social change and is a national speaker on rural arts and cultural issues. His work has been featured on National Public Radio and broadcast on C-SPAN. It also has been featured on US Today, the New York Times, and on NBC's Today Show. Davis states, when artists tap into what they care about in the world with their creativity, it's a power combination. Artists improve the health of our communities. So now, if you guys could please join me in welcoming John Davis for the MCAD Alumni Achievement Award.
Wow, thank you so much. And thank you to MCAD for this incredible honor. And I just have to say that it's been truly inspiring listening to young voices and older voices, to hear their stories, and especially the commencement address, just the powerful voice of hope and of success and failure. And it just got me thinking about the origins of inspiration. I just wanted to share a quick story of one of my heroes and one of the people that inspired me in my life. I was raised by a single mom, along with my brother. Grew up in Minneapolis. Didn't have a lot of money growing up. My mom worked 2 jobs to go to night school so she could be a professor someday. I actually ended up going to night school when I was 5 years old. It was so cool. I was given crayons, you kind of like get in the back, and there's a promise of a cookie if you don't yell during class. But I remember one day I came home, our babysitter was across the street. Her husband was a TV repairman, and we couldn't afford a TV. So one day when I came home, I think I was 6, maybe in 1st grade, I looked down and there was this massive thing. It was a console TV, vintage TV. Of course, it was the 60s, so everything was like vintage, right? So I looked down, and it was this massive TV, but it was broken. There was no picture, there was just volume. And I looked at it, it's like, wow, broken TV. And then I looked right above it. On top of it was stacked a second TV. And that TV was broken too, but it had no sound, but it had picture. So if you tuned the channels together, 2 broken TVs made something that worked. And that just had such a profound impact on my life that it wasn't about money, it was about creativity. And the 2 broken things could work. That really left an impression with me for a really long time, and that carried through my travels getting to MCAD as well, where I realized that teachers and professors and visiting artists and friends could also inspire through the arts and through creative problem solving. And so I just wanted to leave you with a couple things. One is, if there's someone who's inspired you in your life, reach out to them. Let them know that, because odds are they might not know that. It's really important. It's important to also believe in yourself, but I believe it's more important to believe in your friends. So tell your friends that you believe in them.